and yeah, there is so much storytelling behind this match, because the last time we were here in Bologna in 2023, Pac actually made it all the way to top 8 as well, with this Infernoble deck eventually losing in top 8. So he's here back with some redemption, you know, willingness. Let's see if he can go through this, but I think he definitely did not prepare for this event thinking he was gonna face in top 8 against Magical Musketeer, and especially going second, that deck is scary.
Yeah, I mean, when you're preparing a sort of roguish deck like Pac is playing, do you think like you give more credit to all the other rogue decks? Do you think everyone likes to side something for the mirror, or do you think you just say, no, I'm going to be the only person playing my deck?
It's mostly a matter of obviously trying to set up, predict, forecast the meta for the event, and then you tailor your deck mostly to beat, in their case, Tempai and Fire decks. But yeah, there is not many left. That's the issue. So hopefully they are quick learners and adapters, but we'll see. For now, can you guys maybe try to walk us through what could be the strategy from Mattia in general? What does his deck look like outside of, you know, the core of Magical Musket cards?
I mean, he's playing, I mean, 3 Fiendsmith tracked, so I think he wants to give consistency to his deck, and along with the 3 Engraver as well. And I also see 2 Nibiru, which I think kind of surprises me, especially because like this weekend, among all the hand traps, I think this was the less played one. But yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, Tom, I think that the Fiendsmith engine gave the deck a boost that essentially, basically, you know, makes the deck even scarier, you know?
You know, something I'm thinking, I'm looking at the deck list of Matthew, and it strikes me as remarkably similar to what Pac is playing. It looks like, you know, there's lots of hand traps, lots of interaction, and then just running the Fiendsmiths as that complementing with the Magical Musketeers. So unlike Pac, who's chosen that extra engine, if you like, to be the Kashtira cards, instead Matthew's putting in those magical muskets. So maybe if you swapped out the muskets for the Fiendsmiths, you'd almost have, for the Kashtira, you'd almost be looking at a mirror match.
Yeah. Pretty good catch there, and we'll see which one prevails. But yeah, we are expecting a battle of entrops. It seems like they are both close to the 20 count. It's pretty high up there. So
yeah, I mean, when you see that Ghost Bell, you got to think like that's pretty far down the list of most players' like favorite hand traps at the moment. So it presumably means that Matthew's playing a pile of other hand traps as well.
And here it comes, yet another one in the Ash Blossom from Mathieu. Do you like Mathieu's approach of just playing a lot of chew-offs in the end traps, trying to avoid the redundancy, or are you more a fan of just sticking with a full set?
Yeah, I can see what you mean there. He's chosen to put a lot of the hand traps that you can only run one copy of. I think it's fair when the cards are kind of less impactful. Like there are some hand traps maybe that are a tier above the rest, such as the Molshami Fuvalos. I mean, you can use 2 copies of that anyway. And Ash Blossom, Infinite Impermanence, again, you can use 2 copies. So it makes sense to just run 3 of the most impactful ones. And then for cards that are a bit more niche, Ogre, Bell, etc., which, you know, aren't the most popular, and they're not the most popular for a reason, kind of makes sense just to run 2.
Like Il Fornaio back then in the days, yes, was playing always, you know, 2 copies. But I mean, like if you feel like, you know, your deck is consistent enough, I mean, why not, I guess. And here Mattia is in action with the Fiendsmith strat being activated, and Pac having a think on this.
Yeah, the big difference here is that you can actually use it for your musket engine. That's the big difference, because most of it are, you know, light fields. So it's a very niche interaction where actually both of the Link 1 work well together, which is quite rare, because you can go into the Magical Musket, Link 1, and then use it, you know, later on for Requiem. You can do a lot of very cool stuff with this deck. As you were saying, Alberto, we've seen some of that from Dinka in the past. And now he's facing off against another Dinka creation, we could say, because he contributed to the deck alongside the Pac.
Yeah, this could go very wrong for Matthew, having peeked at his hand, though. That Fenrir, even though it's just the one interruption, it's going to get rid of that Magical Musketeer, but it's resolved amazingly.
Wow, okay.
Like a single interruption there would have
Wow.
cut Matthew off completely, but now he's going to be flooded with 2 extra monsters.
Oh, Pac doesn't have anything. How many does he play? 36, 8, 11,
You don't even want to count
14,
it.
17,
Yeah.
20. 20 plus 20 beer, I would say. So 20, I mean, I don't know. You are the mathematician, guys. So I have no
20
idea.
plus 2, you're
20, we
asking
can do
20
that
plus 2? Okay. Yeah, I'm sure Tom can manage that.
We can play guess the face down card though.
All right.
Because just going through, like, we know he's got Unicorn in hand, and then it's got to be a card that he wouldn't have activated yet, so it's probably not Impermanence or Purge. So yeah, what could it what could it be? Maybe just exactly Kashtira Birth, I'm thinking, because almost any other card he must have flipped by now.
But here comes an interruption from Pac, actually. Okay, interesting. Yeah, on the Yama, another of those engine added by Mathieu to his deck.
Oh yeah, you can't purge the what's the name of the Musketeer Link one, because it just summons from the deck. It doesn't add anything to your hand. You see the real downside there of Purge being weaker than Impulse. I feel like most of the time they're about even.
Yeah, it depends on the situation, I guess. I mean, here he gets rid of the Max.
Yeah, and then he's gonna use the Fenrir as well to banish the Yama face down. But we now get to use the Engraver effect from the graveyard.
Yeah, I love this Imperm column there. I mean, it's not, you know, the Imperm column, but putting your Magical Musketeer in the same column as the Spell and Trap card zone means Pac will get punished if he ever activates it. I'm not sure what this particular Magical Musketeer does, but they all have an effect that gets activated when a Spell or Trap is activated in the same column. So if that is an Impermanence or something similar, then Pac can't activate it very freely.
Yeah, it should be Calamity. So it basically just special summon one back from the graveyard. If that is the case.
And I also like that he got to send the Fiendsmith in Paradise. We talked about this as well yesterday, and I think it is a very nice addition to our players' deck this weekend. Yeah.
Big similarity in between decks, as Tom was saying. Relying heavily on the Lacrima. We have mentioned it with Dinka in his also post-match analysis, that it's just the MVP of the deck. It allows you to get so much advantage setting it up every turn, and yeah.
Yeah, I love getting that even extra value out of the Musketeers, because you can just like normal summon it and then make your Link monster, and then if your opponent interrupts it, then you can just go into Requiem.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's just like one normal summon, much like the Lacrima. Oh, look at this.
Wow. Directly going and playing extremely safe, just scared of this face down, which it was tracked.
So got to think now, has Matthew got this like checkmated? It's no Lacrima in the graveyard for Pac, and then I think having peeked at his hand, there's one Veiler, one Ash, and then he's got the Fiendsmith in Paradise in the graveyard as well. He's got a lot of interruptions, so I'm not sure how much Pac can have to get over this.
Yeah, it's definitely an unusual game of Yu-Gi-Oh! In 2024. I am definitely down for it because we are grinding back and forth. But yeah, Matthew there just checking the restrictions from Purge. Want to make sure, yeah, to keep those in mind.
Is Matthew playing the Purge himself?
I think it's no. Let me quickly check. No.
Oh, that's interesting, because I feel like he kind of could.
But yeah, he's playing a few Darks, isn't he? Yeah.
He's I guess he's running the Unchained cards.
The Cow Sage, of course, but yeah, that doesn't. It's a bit of a weird one. So now the cards left in hand. Is it another planet, maybe? I'm trying to take a glimpse of what's left from Pac. As you've mentioned, we have to fight through an Ash and a Veiler, but the Fiendsmith engine can do that decently. So,
well, we have Fiendsmith in Paradise as well in the graveyard. So let's see what Pac's got left. He's got an amazing number of cards left in his hand. It feels like he's been playing cards and cards and cards, but they're so efficient at pushing both the Kashtira cards and the Fiendsmith card, so it makes a lot of sense, even though they've been throwing hand traps back and forth, that still got cards left to play with.
Let's see if there is the Ash here. Makes sense. Yep. So we can take a peek at the extra deck with this Unicorn.
Oh, it was Veiled.
Ah, it was, yeah, that's right.
I mean, honestly, I feel like I've got to give massive props to Matthew for coming up with this deck. Like, it's not something we've seen before. And the Fiendsmith Kashtira deck, like, it's a very interesting and unique deck as well. But, you know, we're seeing a lot of the well-known players this weekend. Pack, Josh, Dinkabui, all playing it. So I guess they've all come up with it together.
Yeah.
But as Matthew just, like, made this by himself, there's a similar style of deck that is looking comparable. Maybe better than the deck that all of some of the strongest players in the room have come up with.
Look at this. I think Pack is done, and we're going to use this Lacrima.
I mean, we may remember him for playing the Dragon Lake deck, no? He was always piloting this, you know, big pile and always coming up with different ideas. And yeah, plays back to him. So now let's see if he can put even more pressure on his opponent.
I know that Pack is playing a lot of like redundancy in the extra deck, partly because you might as well play the Fiendsmiths. They're very powerful, and probably extra copies are going to come up more than anything else. I don't know if Matthew is as well, so whether he can afford to just start playing now, but he's chosen not to. He doesn't want to give up anything from his extra deck.
And this might be the first Requiem that we see he gets to attack directly. Well,
it's a quick effect attributed, though, so you can, or is it a main phase only?
No, you can now get the Lacrima, yeah.
During the main phase.
Yes.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Thanks to the Musketeer, he's going to have like no shortage of light fiends. I feel like other decks, maybe, you know, you get your 3 light fiends courtesy of Lacrima, and then you're kind of done, and you have to shuffle everything back. But with Magical Musketeers, it feels like you have
so many.
Yeah, hundreds.
And yeah, now he returns the favor with this Effect Veiler on the sequence, and one more card in hand from Mathieu.
Is there much you can do after the sequence gets failed?
Okay. Is he also gonna go for... No, okay, I was... Yeah, makes sense. SP gets rid of the Requiem. And we top deck a Murner, not really what we were looking for, and I'm pretty sure he is holding into the second copy of the Pressure Planet.
Guess he just has to summon his monster and pray that Matthew's forgotten about that Fiendsmith in Paradise.
Yeah.
But I don't see any other way out of this situation. I feel like once the grind game starts, it starts to become like very clear what's going to happen. There's no like, you know, it's kind of cards are just trading one for one, and yeah, I'm not sure how Pax can get out of this.
Let's see if Mathieu goes for it.
Because it just runs over the SP if you leave it, right?
Yeah.
So
I think he's
allowing it.
Is that okay? I think so. Yeah. Yep. Allows it.
oh, can it not be destroyed by battle?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a light and a dark Chaos Angel, isn't it?
Indeed.
Very neat. So
Yeah.
I guess no need to negate it even.
Yeah. Reminding the judges as well of this Chaos Angel need protection. And yeah, this makes it rough, and also I guess Pack as well, because like he's using the effect now. Well, might as well use it earlier. Well, doesn't really change now, because if USB, then you can just summon. But I guess you can push this extra 700 to do the field spell. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Pack forgot. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know what.
Yeah,
else.
I mean, I don't know if it matters all that much, because unfortunately or luckily, Baron de Fleur is also out of the picture, so we cannot really normal summon this Mourner to, you know, take great advantage of it. But
yeah, but you could just use the Fenrir and see if your opponent responds with SP in main phase 1.
Yeah, the only thing is, I guess they could get a little more damage, but now, as expected, yeah, we are using this SP.
In fact, I mean, like, you could just activate the Fenrir, and then when he didn't banish anything when he attacked, right? Which is clear, like, he was expecting the SP to be destroyed by that battle.
Sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, now this is looking pretty good for Mathieu.
Yeah, SP, like, dodging around that Fenrir like a pro. It's kind of got nothing on him, just no matter what. I mean, I guess, yeah, you can't even, can you target? You can't even target the Chaos Angel, right? Or is
No.
it? Yeah.
We're starting things off with Engraver, right? Not quite sequence. That's interesting. So now do we get rid of the sequence, it seems? We try at least. And yeah, I think we're gonna do the same little trick, but this time around he's banishing the Fenrir instead, which makes sense. We get to push even more damage. He's probably doing some quick math right now, but it should be pretty easy, yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay. Game 1 handshake, you don't know.
Very sportsman-like there. Handshakes at the beginning and end.
I see.
I
Yeah.
saw
No,
Lorry.
okay. No, the
it's
unicorn is a great last card, because I was seeing a lot of hand traps and the Lurry. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always, you know, 4 hand traps and a cash monster. Come at me.
Yeah.
I'm interested though, like, a lot of players are like dropping the Fiendsmith cards because of Fuvalos. But no, like, does this deck, what do you do with the Fuvalos? Like, do you just pass? Do you just say, okay, I'm just going to draw a bunch of hand traps and summon some Kashtira monsters?
Yeah, straight up. Pretty similar to how, you know, Lorenzo Muselli and the other Italians we have mentioned, which made it all the way to top 16. Unfortunately losing. We're trying to, you know, play around the card, but yeah, I guess you don't really have to commit all that much. And for now, no interruptions, which is odd, considering also the amount of responses that Mathieu has.
Yeah, I guess if you have like fewer interruptions, then maybe the card to focus on is specifically the sequence, because you know, if you interrupt one thing, Pagwai could just normal summon another monster from his hand. He's not used his normal summon, he's still got a birth, so he can summon plenty of other monsters, but the sequence itself is like irreplaceable. You're not really pushing with the Fiendsmith engine if the sequence gets negated. So maybe that's the peak time, just if you've only got like one impermanence, you just say, all right, I'll just hold it for sequence, and then I know it'll be quite limited what they end up on.
And do you feel like there's a specific plan Pac would like to go for against this specific matchup? Like, if he has one, let's say.
We can ask him afterwards. Say, Pac, what was your plan against Musketeer Fiendsmiths when you were building the deck?
Let's find out. But things are looking good for him at the moment, especially because like Mathieu doesn't have any response. But let's just remember that Mathieu is playing 2 copies of Nibiru. And I think we have seen maybe Nibiru maybe 1 or 2 times this weekend, if not.
Yeah, the old-fashioned enemy of the Kashtira cards is Nibiru.
Indeed, but this deck has access to King Caesar as a way to interrupt it. And yeah, there it is. So for now, this could be the opener from Pac. Just sit on some end shops, but we do have an additional normal summon.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with this, right? We're going to end on the Desiree. Unless something comes down to interrupt it now.
Yeah.
Going for the birth.
Makes sense. Good sequencing. And it's resolving, apparently. Wow. Yeah. Okay, that's very surprising. Because also, as we've mentioned plenty of times, when you play so many, again, 20 plus interruptions, you don't see any of them, you're gonna see one as this your 6th card. Like, it's science.
It's always the way.
Yeah, and this is something that we have seen from Joshua as well in previous Fisher matches and Dinka. This way you can set up, you know, the Desiree even better.
feel like you just get a slightly larger Desiree. I don't
Might as
know,
well.
like,
Yeah.
you might as well get some extra Light Fiends in rotation.
And that's it. This should be what the deck wants to do, I guess, going first. And I see how Nibiru was predicted. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure Pak summoned Caesar as the 5th summon, so played around it. But yeah, you're not happy to pick it up regardless.
Yeah, was it the 5th or?
I'm pretty sure it was exactly the 5th. I was trying to count, but yeah, I might be wrong.
So we're siding in these Kashtira cards, which I find funny because now it's a proper mirror match. Everything is a mirror match.
That's great.
Today, Alberto, right?
We said it from yesterday. I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be a mirror match. And funnily enough, Matthias sides in Triple Asher Planet, Unicorn, Rizard, Fenrir, Birth. So
yeah, kudos to him for coming up to the same conclusions, I guess. And all right, the Murner obviously is a little bit annoying. I'm guessing he doesn't have that much space in the extra deck though, so maybe this Unicorn can be annoying. I'm expecting a lot of one-offs, if not only one-offs.
only one off, but 2 Desiree. So basically, yeah.
But yeah, 2 Desiree less helpful if your sequence gets banished, which is it looks like what Pak is hovering over.
Let's see if he regrets not getting rid of the magical musket, but I guess the Caesar is really good at dealing with that.
You can crash the Fenrir into the Caesar, right? It's big enough.
Thanks to the field spell, but then you can get negated.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That is it.
You know as well, he showed him the Nibiru, so you know Pak would only summon 4 times.
So, looking at the ends, there is only 1 Ghost Bell in the end from Mathieu. So, yeah, okay, I'm hoping he went first, and he did, keeping those Kashtira cards, but we are gonna use this Purge to negate it.
Is that a Fiendsmith Sancta? It's a Tract. Okay. Tract is very neat here. You can get a variety of cards. Feels to me like we might just go for the good old Fable Lurry, but could be anything.
Yeah, I mean, at least the good news is no Ash Blossom is gonna be used on you for the rest of this duel. So it does limit a few options. And interestingly enough, we decide to get rid of this Cosmic Cyclone, which can be really annoying though.
Leo will be devastated.
And now let's see if Pak wants to interact yet again with this. It seems as if he has switched, typologies of decks a lot. Recently, he has stopped with Centurion, and he has also been playing this many entraps. So it seems like he's upping on the Paolo trend, we could say. But no, he lets it through.
I feel like similar in style, like the Centurion deck likes to grind and draw a lot of cards, and he plays this sort of similar suite of hand traps where he said specifically like he didn't like the Fuvalos because you want to draw into cards live later in the game. And for a deck like this as well, where you kind of expect the game to go on for a couple of turns, maybe it's kind of the same idea.
Wow, straight into the sequence. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I guess sequence can go into Requiem afterwards if it gets negated, right?
Yep.
Very strange to see, but it makes sense if you've already got the Light Fiends. Why not do it like this? Kind of save yourself a little bit against a potential Ash Blossom.
Which is not active anymore.
All right, a Mourner.
Fair enough. I'll take that. And yeah, now comes the Requiem. I see so many entraps in Pac-Hand.
All hand traps.
It could be I think it's Valor double Imperm.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's maybe a bit much, but there are so many good one-card combos, if we can call them that, off the top. Yeah, that comes yet another one.
Comes the Imperm. I like this, summoning the Necroquip Princess, specifically really just to put the Lacrima in the graveyard, unless Pak has any more hand traps that he wants to just activate now to give Matthew a draw as well. It's funny, this Kashtira, but no
That's
Kashtira
it.
monsters inside.
Big top
I think
deck.
Another one, another purge.
Really?
I think it's another purge.
That's a big, big throw. You could be right. I can't see it, but I'll trust you on that. Wow, that would be devastating. Oof. We've mentioned that 1 year ago, Pac made it to the top 8 of YCS Bologna already with Infernoble before losing out. And yeah, it would be such a shame for him to, you know, have to experience the same again. And yes, we are normal summoning a Veiler. He's playing the Typhon, right?
Well, I can't imagine what else he's going to do with it.
Yeah.
make an anima.
Yeah, he's playing the Typhon.
Yeah, Matthew not even going to let him have that much fun of making a Typhon uninterrupted, right? Put the Paradise in the graveyard. I guess he must know, right? There's
Yeah,
not going to be any
exactly.
Kashtira cards
Yeah.
for sure. So the only thing left, this would be an amazing like bluff if he just played a Tract after this. But
Yeah, that would be fun.
And this interruption, which we have seen a couple of times this week, and I think it's incredibly powerful. I mean, this card alone, I mean, I was talking to Joshua yesterday in the post-match discussion. He was telling me, yeah, we just found this, you know, by chance, and we just said, this card is good. And it actually is, especially because, like, now here, Mathieu has the chance to put that in the graveyard, and not much that Pac can do about it with the last 2 cards in hand remaining.
There comes the Typhon.
and you kind of know when your opponent makes a Typhon, that's it for the turn. Can't be summoning any more monsters after you make a Typhon. So Pac gonna have to pass after this, I guess, or set some cards. Big choice of Light Fiends. Matty going to start the turn with 2 monsters, and that's really all the Fiendsmith deck needs.
Yeah, that's absolutely rough. Very good find. I mean, we've mentioned that the Lacrima was the MVP of this deck, built by Pac, Joshua, and Dinka, but it's very similar to what Mathieu was able to find. And yeah, this just looks like it's gonna be field playtime for Mathieu.
Yeah, I mean, even if Pac has enough stuff to start interrupting him, it's so hard because you have to interrupt, and these cards are basically free for Matthew. So
yeah. And here comes once again the Requiem. So much recursion from this deck, from this engine.
he's got a Caesar of his own.
Yeah. Not quite.
Doesn't need it.
Going for the Yama. This could prompt a response because we are holding. So if that was the Purge, as you were saying, we have Purge and Impermanence. Yeah, it is indeed. So might as well use it now.
Oh, it's going to clear the field for the Fenrir to come down.
Yeah. There it comes. Unfortunately, this time around, maybe the effect was detrimental to Pac.
Yeah, very like muted game almost. This is so much less explosive than other decks we're seeing in the format, but clearly no less effective for it. Both these players already in the top 8, as we can see by their records, have taken down 13 other duelists. Pac choosing, again, he's got the Impermanence, but maybe he just wants to hold it to negate a potential Fiendsmith's sequence. It's going to come down in a minute.
Yeah. Such an unusual side deck from Mathieu, but putting in so much work. He has dedicated something like close to 10 cards to just this Kashtira engine and an extra deck card in his side deck, but it's putting in work.
Maybe it's his like going first engine, if you like.
Yeah, makes sense to me. But he kept it, I guess, going second against this deck specifically last game as well. And yeah, there comes the last card from Pac, who is now completely out of playables and will rely on his top deck if we will even get there.
I think we might be seeing the same trick that...
And yeah.